Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's vlog, we are going to be doing a lot of fun stuff. I'm gonna collect some yummy recipes for the fall season because it is October. It is. I'm sorry for the haters, but just let people enjoy what they like. So we're gonna get some fall recipes together, do our weekly shopping recipes, all of that kind of stuff. And then we're gonna talk about all the media and things that I enjoy. Let's throw it back to past Ashley at the beginning of the week. Hopefully it's a good vlog. I think part of the reason that I have been having such a good week is that I have been indulging in comfort content, and I've also been reading a lot with friends. I will say that if you are looking for buddy reads, I would check out our Discord for our community because we have a book club that we run every single month, and we also have a buddy reads section. Maybe check that out, but I have been reading historical romances with a friend, and we just run them. We just finish one and then we go to the next one. It's been such a good experience. But we're also going to be reading some other things, particularly some rereads, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to start with them reading Throne of Glass. I've fully read it once, and then I've reread a couple of the books. I'm also debating a reread of A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I'm going to be a little bit like consumed by Sarah J. Maas's brain, I guess. When I hike, the place that I hike is very picturesque, and I like to listen to like Twilight or Midnight Sun audiobook because it's just so like atmospheric. And then this past weekend I decided to do a marathon of all of the movies, and so I'm in a little bit of a Twilight mood. Fall coming up, it just puts me right in that mood, so I think this would be a great time to do a reread of Twilight and the entire series. This is my original copy, the first copy I ever had as a kid, and it's falling apart. I have read this one many times, and I've only read Eclipse and Breaking Dawn maybe once possibly twice. Diving into your favorite comfort media is really one of the best ways to get out of a slump, because it's a story you're familiar with, it's a story that you know and love, characters that you know and possibly love. You get to escape into a world that is not your own, but it's also something that you're familiar with. And for me, there's something about, in particular, the Twilight series that just has this like nostalgic, small town, depression feeling to it. Not depression used as not a derogatory term in this instance, but there's just something about this series that just like comforts me in a way that nothing else does. So for the moment, I am going to do a little bit of reading. I think I'm going to read the historical that we're currently working on, and then I'm going to start one of these 3 at some point today.
What is that? It's my phone. It's a phone.
Okay, it is officially the weekend for me, and today's hiking session was absolute garbage because it was hot and there was no breeze, like none at all. So I'm treating myself to an iced coffee. However, I'm gonna try to add pumpkin to it. Apparently this is like a thing you can do. So I think I'm gonna add like a spoonful to it. So I have pumpkin mix, I have cinnamon, my coffee in my broken mug, Planet oat milk, creamer, and then of course we have some ice. We're gonna just throw all of that into the blender and see how it tastes. Let's give this confection a drink. It doesn't have like a super pumpkin-y flavor. It's quite light, which I like, but I think next time I'll put more pumpkin in and blend it for a little bit because I'm getting some cinnamon bits. Okay, for the moment, I'm kind of like all over the place with what I want to do because I do kind of want to watch a new K-drama. Specifically, I was thinking of either Bon Appetit, Your Majesty, or another one that's like a historical situation. However, I also have a ton of things that I want to read, and now my friend who recently read Metal Slinger, and I'm supposed to be reading Light Wielder, the second one in the series, she started it, and now I kind of need to start it, and I'm excited to start it, but I also have a ton of books that I want to be reading. I kind of want to start Twilight. I know I should be starting Light Wielder, but I kind of want to start Twilight. There's just something about it that's like calling me right now, and I just need to like go with it. So I think that's what we're gonna start. I am going to annotate this. I got my like annotation stuff out. I annotated my hardback copy, and I might pull my hardback copy out again and leave this one unannotated because this is my original copy, but I do want to read from this one because, like I said, it's my original copy and it's so beautiful and I just love it so much. Like, holding this in my hands, like the reading experience of holding this in my hands just takes me back to all the times in childhood and teenhood that I read this. Like, the first time I read this, I distinctly remember reading this. So I read this before the movie came out, and I was in middle school, and I was never someone that had a ton of friends. And because I moved around a lot, when I would get friends, I would like lose them. And so I moved to this very, very small town that I only lived in for like a little over a year, like two school years. I think it was 2 school years, 7th and 8th grade. Checked it out from my library, and then I had this like very small group of friends that we all became obsessed with the books. Like, we all read the books, and then we became obsessed with the movies, and we would go over to one of our friends' houses and watch the movies in her basement, because she had like a built-up basement that had like a movie, like a big TV and comfortable seating and all that. And so we would just go and like watch the movie on repeat and like make fun of it and do all of the things and like giggle about it and stuff. And I just remember so many happy feelings reading this for the first time, and it just creates such a level of comfort that I just don't know like any other piece of media, except maybe like Cassandra Clare, except the Infernal Devices. Those 2 things, like, I just don't know how to explain the level of comfort that they bring me. So I'm excited to get into this one. I'm definitely going to start with this copy. It is quite battered, as you can see. I've taped it and everything, but I just want to pick up and like have this in my hands. So I think we're going to start with this one. So I am exactly 7 chapters into all 6 of the books that I'm currently reading right now. I don't know. It started off with my 2 Kindle books. I stopped them at chapter 7, and I was like, I'm just going to do it with all the books that I'm reading. But before we talk about what I have been reading, I thought we could do my Pinterest board. I want to make a Pinterest board for crochet projects and for some baking projects. So I have charged up my iPad, and let's just hop right into that. I feel like I found some pretty good recipes I'm excited to make, and also some crochet plans. I definitely need to find some things to do, like easy beginner type plans, but I definitely am excited to get started or get back into it. I would eventually like to get into sewing as well. I am familiar with crocheting, but I was just not like as committed to it, I guess. So I would like to get back into it without the pressure of the commitment, and just like try to have fun with it, with the eventual goal of like making my own clothes and stuff like that. Before we end out the vlog, I thought we could do a quick talk about all of the things that I have been reading and like my thoughts and all that kind of stuff. I had some really grand plans for this week, but unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, I have not wanted to do anything but read. So, like I said, I've been reading a lot of historical romances and just some really good books. And so I haven't wanted to game, I haven't wanted to watch anything. So I've just been reading a ton, as evidenced by the fact that I'm currently reading 6 books. So we'll start with the thing that I said that I was going to start with, which is Twilight. I am currently bouncing between my original copy and my hardcover copy, mostly because when there's specific scenes that I remember vividly in my head, I like to hold this copy. Like I like to read it from this copy because it just transports me to all the previous times that I've read that scene. I have obviously been listening to this and Midnight Sun quite a bit over the past couple of months, so I'm very, very familiar with the story. I will say that having listened to Midnight Sun and like listening to it now, I think it helps to go back and reread Twilight with the context of Midnight Sun, so that's a nice little addition to the story. But this is just, like I said, such a comfort read. I'm enjoying my reread. I'm like genuinely excited to read all of these things. Also 7 chapters into Throne of Glass. I am reading this really slowly because I am annotating it. Obviously never annotated this series before. I decided to skip the short story collections because I think they add a lot to Selena's character and the next couple of, like the first couple of books, but they're not stories that I feel like I need to revisit to get like a lot of world building and stuff like that. I'm also 7 chapters into A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is a book that I have reread many, many, many times. I think I've read this every single year since I read it for the first time, and this is again not my favorite book, but it's a good it's a good start to the series, I would say. And again, there's just something so comforting about being in this world. And then I am doing a reread of this entire series. I will not be talking about this for obvious reasons. We do not support J.K. Rowling, but I'm doing a reread for myself personally. So I'm also 7 chapters into the first one of that. The ebooks for Heiress for Hire and Light Wielder, yeah, they're good. I'm liking them so far. So I think the reason that I have been looking to again reread these really formative comfort books is because I have been on a bit of an identity journey recently. I mean, I have been since I got my autism diagnosis, working on unmasking and things like that, but I've been in therapy long enough that I feel like a lot of the major things that were affecting my day-to-day untangled them from my daily life, and I've gotten coping mechanisms and stuff like that. And so I'm obviously now working on different aspects of myself, including the struggle for identity that comes with unmasking as an undiagnosed autistic person. I got diagnosed when I was 28. A lot of my life, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know why I was so different than everybody else. And so revisiting these comfort books, these books that I read as a child and found something special in the pages, something that allowed me to escape where I was at when I was a kid, I think I've been needing that level of comfort because it's allowed me to not only recreate those feelings of nostalgia from being a child and getting lost in these stories, but also they've allowed me to read these stories as the person that I am today and do a little bit of reimagining of what my childhood with these stories would have been like had I known who I was. Being back here is a touchstone to who I used to be, who I was when I was a child, and also allows me to firmly stay planted in who I am now. Getting these stories again with who I am now. And I feel like I'm just rambling, and I really hope that that makes sense. But I think that's why I've been craving these rereads so bad. Like, I've just been wanting to get back into these worlds that are so familiar, and they feel so, like, connected to me as a person, and rediscovering what I loved and what I hopefully love on a reread. That is it for this video. I haven't began editing it, so I hope it's not super short. Like I said, this week has not been crazy, not a lot's been going on. I just haven't really been wanting to talk and kind of trying to like get through it and yeah, settle back into myself. So I really hope that you have enjoyed the video. I would love to talk about your comfort media, what you have been doing, what you do to get out of a slump, how your life has been lately. I will leave our community's Discord linked down below. Servers, channel for the community to talk and share our lives together. And I would love to have you there if you are interested. Don't forget to subscribe if you are looking for more content like this from me. I post weekly-ish vlogs, just sharing parts of my life, and I probably, maybe, possibly will be getting into more media-related videos in the future, but for right now, I've been finding a lot of joy in creating vlogs again. Check out the Discord, subscribe, comment, do all of the things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.